Are you an artist who used to be an artist and now you're working a job and you don't really know when you're going to get back into art? Have you heard of those old people who all of a sudden retired and got into painting or dancing or drawing or whatever? Have you heard of those people? What do you think? Are you going to wait until you retire in order to get back into your art? Hi, my name is Pauline Dugald, and I work with artists and creatives on how to get them back to their flow state through their art that they have used once and given up upon due to the life circumstances. And in this video, I'm going to speak about our propensities to use our limiting beliefs to sort of curtail our progress and limit ourselves and prevent ourselves from getting into the flow state, and then suffer from that because we are not able to express ourselves fully. So what happens is that we build ourselves a container, a safety container in this life, in this time and place where we exist as an ego, as a person. We create a whole bunch of limitations for ourselves, because if we go back to the concept that we're infinite spirit and we're here to experience this limitation reality, we do need some limitations. We do need boxes, because if we were to consider who we truly are, everything would seem endless, going to eternity. And so if that was the case, it would be quite impractical to live in that way. So we must create limitations for ourselves. But sometimes we forget that we have created those. Sometimes we forget how to undo them. And we struggle because of that, because we identify with the container we have created for ourselves. And so what can you do if you wanted to kind of exit out of that container? You probably heard many times people say, well, it's within your power. You're an infinitely powerful being. You can change your reality. You can do anything you want. Does that seem like a bunch of baloney sometimes to hear that you can do absolutely anything, and yet you're stuck in a situation that you seemingly can't even control, never mind change? And that is the trickiest part of this existence. So when I used to consider before, I would think that everything was only one way, only black or white, binary, very binary situation. And I had to learn through life that things are not binary indeed. And it took me a long time to learn that. But obviously, if I didn't learn that, it would have been quite tragic to either never have an opportunity to exist in a binary situation and then discover that there's so much more between, or to always kind of have this understanding without the ability to kind of change your perspective, without the ability to shift yourself. Because our growth comes from shifting from one way to another. Our growth comes from discovering ourselves and our voice and our abilities, or sometimes even rediscovering, and sometimes rediscovering multiple times. So what it all comes down to is those containers that we create for ourselves, and then someday those containers become too tight, just like the baby in the womb needs to come out at some point, because it needs to be born. It cannot stay within its environment forever. And the same goes for us. Sometimes our limitations that we have created for ourselves become too small. We outgrow them, and we have to shed them and change them. But because we can't exist in this reality without any limitations, we can't just remove them completely. We have to shift them to something else. We have to shift them to something better. And so how can you do that? Well, first you have to be able to understand what it is that you're trying to shift, because without awareness, you don't stand a chance of adjusting anything. Just like when you're working on a car, you can't fix the car if you don't know what part is broken. The same thing goes for yourself. You need to understand what it is that you're trying to adjust. And sometimes it can be hard to do on your own. You may be stuck in cyclical thinking. You might not be able to see because when you are in your state, in your experience, you don't know a lot of things that might be obvious to others. There's a saying in the South that goes something like, you can't see the label when you're sitting inside the jar. So when you're sitting inside your human experience, you can't see where those opportunities are for shifting your beliefs and what beliefs need to be shifted. So that is the point of my video, to express to you that you don't have to wait till you retire to return to doing your art and your craft. There is a way to integrate it, and it's imperative for you to, if it was a big part of your life at some point, it is imperative for you to rediscover and bring it back into your reality, so you can feel like you're a complete person, like a complete, whole, satisfied individual, because that will lead you to flow state experiences, and those experiences will create more opportunities for expansion of your mind, expansion of your craft, and all things related to that. So if this is something that resonates with you, leave me a comment below, like and subscribe if you like this content, and there's also an opportunity for you to download a free structure that I have created in order to get back into equilibrium. When we are going through our life and we're pulled from one thing to another and we might get unbalanced, it's very hard to express ourselves fully. It's hard to understand where we are. It's hard to see the limiting beliefs if we are out of balance. So the tool that I have created is very simple, and it helps you to get back into equilibrium. And I called it Equilibrium Protocol, so that very simply you can retain back your center and start thinking more clearly again. The link below, download if you like, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!